I don't know if you believe in spells, magic spells in which you cast a magic spell across the ocean, let's say, or across the land, or into the sky, and you go, "Aoni maoni nim doo, I cast this over you." I don't know if you believe in that sort of thing, but let me tell you, words are spells, because you actually have to learn how to spell a word. I mean, a word, after all, starts as a sound, doesn't it? It starts, you think of a word, and it starts as a noise, and I'm making that noise, and you're interpreting the noise as words. And we share this knowledge of words because words have a lot of power. We can write them down, and that's a secondary thing. We don't start in our lives by writing these words down, do we? We start by speaking them. And in fact, we start by hearing somebody else speak them, and we go, "Oh, I understand what that means. That noise repeated, I understand what that means." And so words start off as sounds, and then later on they're put down. And when they're put down on pages, they lose something. They lose the nuance, the way it's spoken, the excitement, or the very boring way it's spoken. When it's written down, it's very bland, isn't it? And you have to be very, very clever in order, say, to make a sentence really spring out at you. But someone can say a sentence, and they can make it sound very interesting, very enticing. Or they can make it sound very boring and not so interesting. It depends on how they say it. But the words themselves, they're spelt. That's spelling. And that is actually casting a spell. Now, we've been under spells for quite some time. And those people who would like to rule the world, those people who'd like to have a one world government and tell everybody what to do, and actually those people who want to remove a certain number of people, those, you know what I'm talking about, they like to use certain words. And these words, these spells, can make an impact on us. Certain words can frighten you. And they do tend to do that. We saw a couple of years ago, you may remember, there was this problem, and this problem was told to us that my goodness, we were all going to die from it if we didn't have a certain medical intervention, if we didn't have this thing put into us. Well, of course, it turns out that the thing put into us was not very wholesome at all. It wasn't very good for us at all. And some people started croaking it. "Oh, excuse me, I've got to exit stage left." And that's what would happen to them. And of course, nobody would talk about it. Nobody would use those spells in, say, the House of Commons, because they knew how important saying certain words were. Positive words or negative words. But the authorities, these people who like to control us or think they're controlling us, and they'd only control us if we give them the power to control us, they like to use a lot of words. And these words can have negative effects on us if we start using their words too. So there is a word. It's the name of a virus, actually, and we all know it begins with C and has a number associated with it, before 20 and after 18. You may remember it. And on that note, let me just say, I just want to interrupt this. It's like an interruption of the programme now, just for a moment. I was driving along with the lovely Julia, and we saw a number plate on a car. You see if you can work this out. It was C19 VAX. Genuine number plate, you can look it up, registered in 2013. I did look it up. Now, if it's your car and that's you driving around, it's a very unique and very odd number plate, C19 VAX. I nearly veered off the road when I said to Julia, "Look at that. We should have taken a picture," but we didn't, because we were driving, and we passed it, and there were two middle-aged people driving about. They seemed all right. First, I thought it might be old Bill or his mate, Klaus, or the other one. What's his name? Tony. Used to be a prime minister. Can't be bothered to say their names. Anyway, the point is that the C19 bit has that word. I don't want to use that anymore, that word, because it's giving it power. And if you repeat certain words, they start to have an effect. And I don't want to have that C word. And we often talk about the C word in terms of something else. I don't want to give it the power. I don't want to give it the spell. There's a lot of other words. For example, there's those kiddie fiddlers, isn't there? And a lot of these kiddie fiddlers, it seems, and I'm not talking about a bunch of young people playing an instrument. I'm talking about those people who like to play with children, but not in a fun way, in a rather macabre way. And in fact, some of them like to deal with them in a sort of murderous way, in which they suck the blood out and they actually drink it, apparently. Now, I'm not privileged to see any of this, and that wouldn't be a privilege. I'm not privy to that, I suppose is a better way of putting it. I think it's absolutely obnoxious. And those kiddie fiddlers, there's a technical term for it. I'm not going to use that, actually, because I don't want to give that power to them. To me, they're peddlers, they're peddlists, they're peddling their wares in a nasty way. They're idiots, they're nasty people, they're foolish. I like to ridicule these people because that's what they are. They need to be ridiculed. And so now, I mean, there's those people who do rituals to a creature that is supposed to be down there in fire and brimstone, you know, and they have their term, and they give these rituals and praise and worship this evil being. And I'm going to call them something like sardonatists, because they're not nice. I don't want to use their names anymore because that's giving them a power, and I refuse to give them a power. I'd rather find comic names for these people and ridicule them, because that's what they need. Because if you give them words and you spell these words out, they cast across the waters and they absorb them. So by taking the mickey out of these sardonatists, or whatever word I finally settle with, and these peddlists, these kiddie fiddlers, these irritable, nasty, rubbishy people, I'm actually dispelling it. I'm dispelling the power they have over us. So when they use certain words, there's a word that we keep hearing at the moment about a virus that is going all around the world, and we use it like well, they call it like I'm just trying to think now on the fly. It's a pan something ick. I'm not going to use that word anymore because it kind of makes it happen. It makes it real. So when people use that pan something ick, which short version is like a panic, but where there's a dem in the middle of it, now you're getting the idea. If you're actually acknowledging these words, and they'll put them out and they'll tell you this C word thing, this comic thing, this comic 19, if you like, and this pandemic thing, if you take those real words that they use with their meanings, it's likely that you'll take it too seriously and you may actually make it happen. So what I'm trying to say is, don't take their words, dispel them, make them irrelevant, make them not work, break them, snap them in two. They want you to believe all this, these authority figures, because they want to keep you down. They want to keep the vibrations low. No. We're not having that anymore. You see, once bitten, twice shy. Not falling in for that game. These bully boys can only bully you if you let them. And if you just stand up to them and say, do you know what? Your silly words mean nothing to me. It's like water off a duck's back. I'm not having it anymore. No, because we have woken up to your games. And they're panicking. Oh my goodness, they're panicking. They're throwing their stuff left, right and centre because they want us to be frightened. They want us to be fearful. But it's game over now. Sorry, beep, 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 game over. It's over now, folks. Thank you very much. Oh, you can try it, but no. It's time for bed for you lot. No more of this nonsense, thank you. Up you go, up the apples and pears. You can take your C word and your panadenic with you. You can take whatever words you want, but they don't resonate with us anymore. We've dispelled them. We're free. We're sovereign people. We're men and women who have our own lives. We're not under their thumb anymore. They can come up with their treaties and their anachronisms, and they can meet in secret and they can do all their nonsense. But they are unaccountable and they're unelected. They have no basis for us. We just got to recognise it. Your words will not have any effect on us because we're not going to use them. We're not going to think about them. We're not going to entertain them. These people are irrelevant to our life because this is the new world now, and we've woken up to it and we're pushing them away. So you can keep your silly words. We'll break them every time you say them. We'll make up our own words for them because you lot are not welcome here anymore.